Hi, welcome to another swim focus video here. So we're going to go through today about breathing, and we're going to talk about breathing in terms of relaxation. So I'll show some videos in a second here, but I just want to kind of frame your mind what we're looking at. One of the biggest problems that I have in terms of teaching adults is teaching relaxation of the breath. Now, there's a couple reasons for that. It could be, past experiences. You had a bad experience as a kid, and when we go to take a breath, we're panicking because we remember that you had trouble in the water before, or you just don't like the water, and it causes that tension, right? And lastly, which is kind of underspoken about, is being able to maintain your body position, right? So if you can't maintain your body position, you can't maintain your swim stroke, and then I expect you to be able to get a breath. It's not going to happen because you're sinking. You're swimming like this, and you go to try to take a breath. You're going to have to lift your head to be able to get a breath, which is going to throw your body position off. Trying to breathe like this just doesn't happen anyway. So all that effort, all that change is very, very challenging to you, because it's a struggle to be able to get a breath. So I'm just going to pause here and grab some video. Okay, so in this example here, we're going to see a few things, and we actually have this video paused at kind of a nice moment. Here's the peak of the breath. And what you see is the head is tilted up to the side, eyes looking back, and we're trying to take a very, very quick breath. But you can also see the tension in the shoulders. So let's just watch here. So every time we take a breath, it's quite late. You can see the breath, face is clear, but there's tension in the chest, there's tension in the shoulder, lots of tension in the face. The face looks rigid, right? So when we go to get a breath there, you're not going to be able to get a good breath, right? You're actually going to be starting to fall apart there a little bit. And here's this, probably the worst breath, right? You can still see we're still breathing and we're going back into the water. So at that point there, we're really going to struggle to get a good breath. We're not going to be comfortable. We're going to feel fatigued. So when people are swimming like this, what we see is that you'll be able to swim 50 meters. You'll feel very, very comfortable swimming 50 meters, and then you'll turn to do your 100, and it's just game over. And the reason being is that, the rule of thumb is that it takes somewhere around 30 seconds for the oxygen that you breathe at that time to affect you, right? So if you hold your breath for 30 seconds, it's not going to, during that 30 seconds of holding your breath, not going to affect you all that much, depending on your level of exercise, of course. But if you go to swim, and now it takes you about a minute to do, say, 50 meters, right? You take a breath. At the start, you start with full level oxygen, you swim 50 meters. Halfway through that, you're going to start to feel that not great breathing technique, or not being able to get a good breath towards that 50. And then as you get to that end of that 50, now it's built up for another 30 seconds. So now you've had 30 seconds of not great breathing. You're starting to feel a little fatigued. You're not getting that oxygen that you needed. You're still exercising at a hard rate because you're tense, right? So you're working really, really hard. And then you turn to go into the next 50 and you're done. Because, you just aren't getting the oxygen levels that you require. And the 50 meters is easy because it's not that effective, or you're not being effective at that point. But once you get to that 50 meters, then it starts to become really, really effective for you. So that's where we have to be a little bit careful in terms of figuring out when you should be actually swimming, right? In terms of the 50 meter, we need to kind of build up to that a little bit, right? And maybe you should be swimming 25s until you get your breathing controlled, and then move into that 50 or 100 meter there. Okay, I'm going to show one more breathing video here that we can talk about. 1 second here. Okay, so here's a video that we get some athletes to do that are struggling with getting that breath in, or struggling with the relaxation. So an example set that we would have people do is 10 25s, and you're going to do 5 sinks, which we'll see in the video here in a second, after each 25 meter. The goal is to get you to relax and calm down on that breath, so you're feeling comfortable in the water, basically. Now here's what it looks like. So all you're going to do, take a big breath, and then you're going to blow bubbles out. And you can see here, when I got lots of air in my lungs, I'm going to actually float. And once that air starts to go out, once I start to lose all my air, feel comfortable blowing all the air out of my system, I'm going to sink. All right, now, someone who maybe is pretty new to the water may not want to sink all the way down, or definitely do it with someone, or do it in an area that you can touch quite easily. But it's a great drill just to feel calm and relaxed as you're breathing here. Okay, lastly here is how you actually breathe out underwater. So there's 2 methods, and I've had more success teaching one way than the other, but I do try to teach both ways. Now the idea is you can take a breath, right, and then either you can blow it out consistently through while you're swimming, and then breath in, right? And that works for some people. I find that really challenging to teach new adult swimmers. It's difficult to do because there's a lot more things going on in the water than thinking about that calmness of the breath underneath. The other way that you can do it is take a breath in, breathe out a little bit, and then force exhale it when you're ready to take a breath. So it looks something like this. So, and get that breath. So that forced exhalation kind of triggers you to breathe in, and that I've had a lot more success with teaching adults. Definitely trial by error, because by the book we should be kind of breathing out consistently, especially when we're looking at an endurance sport, right? We don't want to be holding our breath. So here's an example of just a side kick, one arm up, one arm down, and you can see here that definitely kind of holding breath here. So a little bit of bubbles coming out, but primarily we see, not a lot of actual bubbles coming out. This is just holding breath here. Right, holding our breath. So that's not something that we want to see. We want to see much more consistency of the bubbles here. If you do hold your breath too often, you are going to struggle with just being relaxed throughout, because that holding the breath is naturally a tense position. Anyways, if you have questions, give me a shout, Mike at swimfocus.ca, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and go from there. Thank you. Bye-bye.